Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Shut up.
So that's why they're not here.
I'm not going to give up.
So that's why they're not here, because they both
Avenge me.
they both died cycling this weekend. That's why they're not here.
Calvin definitely died cycling. Jordan probably took a nap.
Appreciate y'all tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. We got the squad in the building. Yeah. Hey, we are short a couple of people apparently due to a tragic cycling incident.
Bro, I love you, Calvin. I really do.
Apparently,
you're my boy, Blue.
Apparently we down boy, Calvin Blue. And JC. There was a cycling accident this weekend that included 2 clowns and a unicycle. Is that what we heard?
They said my man's fly glasses went this way, his shoes went this way, and a bike flipped over.
Hey, pettiest man alive in the building, Mr. P Kid, as always. The super producer Joel holding down the ones and twos.
He's telling us this now, like
this
just before we go live.
Right.
He got the
right
Sonic coins knocked out.
Bro. Oh my God, man. We got a lot to get to on today's show. Depth chart projections. Got to check that out. Athletic with an interesting article on the 53 man. The Bulls are rejecting Alex Caruso deals.
I can't believe that.
We got to slap somebody. And the NBA finals are done. Maybe not.
No, they're not
you
done.
think it's not over?
I'm going back to the last one. We ain't slapping nobody over there who owns stadium. They did the right thing.
Not best and worst of the weekend. All that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Boys, what's going on? How y'all feeling today, man?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's always a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A lot to get into on today's show. That's tough that he almost died on a bike this weekend, bro. That's a tough weekend.
Hey, that's my best and worst.
Is it best or worst?
That's my best and worst.
That's best and worst.
Hey, listen, and my worst.
Because he still actually did well. The story's not over. I didn't finish the story. He did well. This man is a trooper, but I now know how to press his buttons. All we have to do is laugh and point at him.
Hey, yo. But hey, let's jump into the show, man. 53-man roster, possibly finalized. I mean, like, not really, but I'm going to be real with you. The funniest part about predicting the 53-man roster is when you go to training camp, when you see these guys, you just start looking around, dog. You're just going, there's a lot of dudes here that's not going to make this team. And that's an interesting feeling to have based on where we've been as Bears fans. We've gone into how many training camps in a row looking at real positional battles.
Yeah.
Like now we're just looking at a couple of guys to see where they're going to end up. Are they going to make the team? The Athletic put out a very interesting article on the 53-man roster, and they basically go through, and Kevin Fishbane and Adam Johns predict kind of where they see this 53-man roster going. And I don't have a lot of questions on it, maybe a little bit at the wide receiver position. But outside of that, I think that it's more of, do we like what we're seeing on this team? Do we need to see more? Do we need to see changes? So we'll go through that. And let's jump into it right here. I mean, listen, quarterback's easy. We can breeze through this one. Caleb Williams, Tyson Bagent. Done.
Yep.
Done. There's no Brett Rippon. Brett Rippon probably practice squad. I think he's third string. I forget who the other dude, Austin. No, not Austin. Something Reed.
Austin Reed.
No. I'm saying it's a quarterback.
Austin Reed.
Was Austin Reed?
He's right there.
String? Oh, okay. Oh, Austin Booker. I got my guys. Austin.
We just put it back up there for you.
Appreciate you there, Joe. Appreciate you there, Joe. I was getting Austin Booker and Austin Reed mixed up there. Yeah, I mean, you got him in their fourth string. I see him pretty much probably not making this team, but it's some good reps. for him to get in. Glad he was able to come to training camp. Running back is interesting because you're talking about keeping 5 running backs on this team.
Ooh,
DeAndre Swift,
backs?
Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, Travis Homer. They're also including Kari Blasingame in the running back
Isn't he out of
position.
there?
He's a fullback.
I think he's out of there.
No, they're going to keep the fullback.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
They use him. They use him as
He's
far
a
as
blocker.
they use him
He's
as an
another
extra blocker. They use him. Yeah.
No, there's value of him. I just didn't realize. There's just so much.
I thought
There's so much talent like between all these receivers and these tight ends. It's like I didn't think they had room for a fullback, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I think Kari ends up making this team. I'm not surprised to see that at all. Wide receiver to me is kind of my first question here. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Romo Dunze, Tyler Scott, Velus Jones, Dante Pettis making the team. Now, that one surprised me only because we haven't seen a lot when we're out at practice. We haven't seen a lot of Dante Pettis. But you're still talking about your 6th wide receiver here. But we haven't seen a lot of Dante Pettis out there. He's been on the sidelines a lot, hasn't been doing a lot of taking part in a lot of the drills and different things like that during OTAs and stuff like that. So that one to me is kind of shocked, but I'm not worried about our 6th wide receiver.
I'm sorry. This just JB 60606. Call me crazy, but I'm confident. Caleb Williams will make this. I couldn't stop but chuckle when I saw that.
JB. Yeah. I think we got that one.
Call me crazy.
I think we got that one. I don't know though. There's a chance.
Hey man, listen.
Might I interest you in
Tyson Bajan?
Tyson Bajan. We know a couple people that's glazing Bajan out here.
Hey, listen. He has a whole following. He's doing well.
Yeah. All right.
That's all you had to contribute to that. All right.
Hey, listen. What am I supposed to say? I'm not going to criticize him. I'm going to show love at all times.
Tight end position right now. They've got 3 tight ends making the roster. I love this as well. Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, Mercedes Lewis. I knew Mercedes is going to be there. Like I said, he's more of the vocal leader on the team. Yeah. Comes out as a phenomenal blocker. This is the 2 sections that probably get interesting here, though. 9 offensive linemen, 8 defensive linemen. 9 offensive linemen that make the team: Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Ryan Bates, Nate Davis, Darnell Wright, Coleman Shelton, Kieran Amagaji, Matt Pryor, and Jatir Carter on the offensive line. This is probably where I would look else at other positions on the field and say, I know you want the depth. I know that you want guys, but you could put Jatir Carter on the practice squad and get by. I don't need to see him make the team. I could see him be on the practice because nobody's going to pick him up.
I mean, listen, health is still a big thing when it comes to that.
You can always elevate him. He's on the practice squad. I'm not saying get rid of him. I think he's a player that you keep around. He was a draft pick that you had last season. But Cribs is stupid. No one surprised P Kid likes Bajan. There's a real stigma going around about you and Caucasian quarterbacks, bro. I'm not.
Isn't Caleb mixed? No, he's not mixed.
no, just black. Just black.
Black. I was like, hey, salute my brother. Happy you made it.
To me, honestly, the real questions are offensive line, defensive line.
Yeah,
like seeing this. Now you're hearing about Nate Davis may not be the right guard because they're talking about Ryan Bates possibly being. Matter of fact, I got this depth chart off. This is from ESPN as it stands.
Yeah.
But based off the article,
half the time they wrong.
They're talking about Ryan Bates possibly being the right guard and Shelton being the center.
Well, I think that's a situation based on the conversation that we've been having, right? That's why the offensive line is interested, because if Nate Davis doesn't practice at training camp. Here's the thing that I have to see. I'm not gonna lie. I said this with I believe this was with Dion the other day. Either Dion or J-Mac, one or the other. But here's the thing that I have to see. You got to stand up for your culture. And if Nate Davis is freaking Roberto Garza out there and he's not practicing, go ahead. I don't need to see you on the field. I don't need to see you practicing. It's fine.
Dang.
But
come on, Levante.
I believe 99.999% Caleb Williams is starting. I would bet Joel's gaining a hairline on it. Hey, listen. That's a $10,000 bet.
I will go to Canada.
Hey, that's a $10,000 bet.
I will go to Canada.
Cheaper.
Get my wig back.
I told you.
Everybody's going to Turkey. You might as well go there.
No, I know Canada's up the
Canada.
street.
You can just drive to. You ain't got to pay for a flight.
Yeah, but it's cheaper in Turkey.
I think it's about the same price, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still
Nah,
10
everybody
grand.
named Mama go to
Catered
Turkey.
about 10 grand.
Hey, Turkey is the premier
but you're paying
cosmetic thing.
for-
I'm just not going there. You go there.
Oh,
You go.
let this hairline start going the wrong direction. I see you in 2 months, eh?
Fam, are you gonna do the?
I
see you in 2 months, eh? But no, I think that I need to see Matt Eberflus stand up for his culture. Like the hits principle, everything that goes into it. I need to see you say, if you're not practicing, you're not the starting right guard. And I understand
this.
I understand that a lot of
dog.
I understand that a lot of this is from the people above him, right?
Yeah,
a lot of the coaching hires that were made this offseason are Ryan Poles coaching hires. A lot of the situations that have been put in place, they're insulating Matt Eberflus, kind of like how they're doing Caleb Williams, to where it's going to be really tough for you to F this up because we're putting you in a great position to not F this up.
Just put it in drive.
But I
hit
need
the gas. Don't even F it up.
But at a certain point, you do have to stand up for the culture that you're trying to set.
Also, we have 100 in the chat, by the way.
Oh, 100 in the chat.
Where's Ringo at?
I think this is also going to be something where Ryan Poles actually steps in. He did it with Claypool. I think it happens with this. Eventually, that gets
you're talking
corrected
money.
eventually.
This is money. I mean, what does he owe? Like
10 mil.
10 mil.
10
That's
mil,
a lot
guaranteed.
of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Where it's like
you got to get the okay.
Please, will you just please practice?
Yeah, you got to get the okay. But listen, we're not at training camp yet, so I'm not as worried about it yet. If we get to training camp and it's still a problem, I got a problem with it. I do. And I'd have a problem because here's the thing. I love the beard, love the fade. I need to see you be a head coach. A head coach is going to tell a dude that's not practicing every single week unless it's legitimately I'm dying and I can only be out there on Sunday.
He missed OTA? I mean, mandatory.
He ain't practiced. He was there.
He was there.
He's there for everything, but he's on the sideline, which means you're not getting the reps that you need to get with your young quarterback, which means you're not getting the reps that you need to get with the second year right tackle who you stood next to all last year but didn't practice next to.
Is there any rhyme or reason as to why, though? I know we've talked about it, but we kind of danced around it. Is there any legitimate reason why he's there, which is what he's supposed to be, but he's not practicing? Is there any concern? What is that? I know you're there, your boots on the ground.
I mean, it's a very different NFL, right?
Okay.
So if you come in and you say, I got something I'm dealing with today, they're gonna say go to the trainer's table. That's really what it is. If you come in and you say, I got some leg tightness, they're coming into the trainer. You're going to the trainer's table.
I'm just making sure.
So like that to me, now I haven't seen not like last year, nothing like last year.
Okay.
I think as far as we know, this is all just something precautionary. That's all Matt Eberflus has told us.
Well, you're still waiting on Kieran Magaji as well. So like,
but even that's all precautionary because technically he's been medically cleared. He said this his first week.
Yeah,
he's been medically cleared. The team is holding him out.
Is it possible the team's also doing that with Nate Davis?
It could be. I don't know. That's why I said I'm not overly concerned until we get to training camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
you're right.
When I see the writing on the wall of certain things that have happened from a previous coach, when that coach was literally like, nah, we don't want you here because you don't practice.
Hey,
that's where
J, by the way.
You got a super.
What do you say? Pat, have you seen the movie
up.
Whiplash? It reminded me of your last Patreon video. And also, if you're doing a home project, would that make you Project Pat the home designer? That was cheesy. I have seen the movie. That was mad cheesy, but it made me chuckle.
That was good.
I have seen the movie Whiplash. I love the movie Whiplash. Actually, it's a phenomenal movie.
What movie is? I don't remember.
It's a drummer's movie. And it's
I did see Whiplash.
What's J. Jonah Jameson, the real dude?
Oh, that's the name of that movie. Yeah. Adam Driver in it? No, some kid he's like berating the guy as he's learning how to be a better drummer.
As he's learning how to become a good drummer.
I got you.
It's a phenomenal movie.
That's not Kevin Spacey, right?
No, it's I can't think of his name.
J.K. Rawlings or
J. something Rawlings. Yeah.
Simmons.
J.K. Simmons? Something like that. Y'all know who it is.
Yeah.
All I know is he's freaking he's J. Jonah Jameson, and now we can never see it. Yeah,
you're right.
He threw a symbol at that mug head.
Samurai, bro, he had another super chat. He said, also, I know I'm late, but back to the money.
Back to the money.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, that's what it is. J.K. Simmons.
That's what I said. J.K. Simmons.
You're right. You're right.
But
we have to put a face to it.
But no, I think realistically with Nate Davis, like the question to me is just, if he's not out there, is Flus going to step up? That's the only question I have left. Because I don't have a question that there's a question on Nate Davis practicing. We got the answer to that.
Okay.
That's a question.
Excuse me.
We know that already. We know that there's some disconnect with him practicing and being on the field and stuff like that. My biggest question is this the moment where Matt Eberflus has a head coach moment and says that's unacceptable?
How old is Nate Davis?
30? I believe 30.
Yeah, if he's on the second kind, I look at it.
Potentially one of those situations where it's like, let's wait till a real practice. Let's get the
No, for
going.
sure.
And then for what his position is, I've also been told that it's like hard to practice for that without the pads because you're like essentially potentially practicing bad.
27.
27. For
Jesus, he's younger than I thought. All right, so, hey, you normally say 33. You with 30. I'm proud of you.
I knew he was young. I was like, we didn't
30 though.
That's
because
Pat's favorite thing. Was it
You gotta
33?
put him at 30.
No, because what's his name didn't sign nobody over 29. Remember that whole offseason? We was like, yo, he signed some young dudes. Like he signed everybody 26 and 27 and stuff like that. So I thought he came in 29. But at the end of the day, I'm not freaking out now, but it is something that I'm keeping an eye on as far as the depth chart. And I wonder if we do get to a point in the season where there's a possible move made there where you see somebody end up moving up into that position. Maybe it's Tevin Jenkins switches sides and you put Karan on that side.
I want to see the center position. I need to understand who is the center.
Well, that's what makes it tough. That's what makes it even tougher.
But I also want between Karan and then the center position to me of like how this line starts right now on paper by August and September and what it's going to end up at the end of the season. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Like we have our entrenched right tackle with Darnell Wright. We clearly were stuck with Braxton Jones as our left tackle. We know technically Tevin Jenkins is great when he's there and he's healthy and he plays. And if let's say he plays, we definitely got 3 guys. So we still need a center and one of these guards. Now our dream is to put Tevin Jenkins on the right side, and does that mean that Karan becomes our future left guard? There's somebody here. Nate Davis I don't think he's the answer, especially if we just drafted Karan Amagechi. So now it's just the center. So I'm just what is it going to look like by the end of the season? Because I don't think it's going to be this line at the beginning of the season.
And we won't even get a chance to really see what that looks like for another 6 or so weeks, right?
Yeah, no, you won't be able to see that until training camp starts up. So yeah, you got about 6 weeks there. We get a week early though, week earlier this year because of that Hall of Fame game. Yeah. Not mad at that at all. Looking at the defensive line, Montez Sweat, Javon Dexter, Andrew Billings, DeMarcus Walker. What?
We frozen?
Who's frozen? No, you're good.
Okay.
No, we're
good. We're good. All right. We're not moving there, though.
I don't know.
We're moving here, though.
You never know. Yeah.
No, I see it just fine here.
You hit like the tap. I'm like, what? Huh? What?
I mean, I'm just making sure.
No, defensive line. I do.
It is frozen over there.
That's weird. Defensive line, Montez Sweat, Javon Dexter, Andrew Billings, DeMarcus Walker, Austin Booker, Jacob Martin, Dominique Robinson, Zach Pickens. Now, this one to me, I could see some changes coming in during training camp. I could see some names added to this team during training camp that changed this up drastically. Dominique Robinson does not make my team. He just doesn't. I'm sorry. Like we're 3 years into this now. He's got 2 sacks that we can commit to memory.
Is this also accounting for any potential signings that we may have?
No. So this is a projected roster based on who's on the team right now. You got 90
and
dudes.
This is the
ESPN
like depth chart versus the athletics conversation. So
yeah, okay.
But I think the defense is pretty much this is set.
Outside of DeMarcus Walker, and does Austin Booker take a significant jump in training camp?
Unless they sign an edge, which again, that's
or
a different
trade for like do they sign Yannick? I think they mentioned that too. Do they sign Yannick? Or do we make that?
I saw someone mention
trade
Emmanuel Agba, which wasn't a bad idea.
I mean, Emmanuel Agba is basically all this. Like Calais Campbell's off the board.
You got Yannick
Ngakoue. Yeah. Calais Campbell went to Miami.
I mean,
you got Yannick Ngakoue.
Last year?
Who?
Emmanuel Agba. Maybe it was the year before. Yeah, but it was not bad.
5 sacks last year, I think.
He's in the same kind of. Well, Yannick had.
But at that point, I'm not gonna lie, and I said this a couple of times, right? When you get to the point where you're signing Emmanuel Agba, aren't you just living with DeMarcus Walker?
Yeah, you're pretty much.
You know what I mean? Like if Emmanuel Agba's on the board, I'm set with DeMarcus Walker. I appreciate you playing the work version of our game, but we're gonna keep this thing moving along.
No, man. Someone like him who actually did well in that defense is the way we've built this kind of reminiscent of that. The sacks that he put up, I think he put up more sacks than Yannick did. Yannick put up 3 last season. We paid him.
Yannick definitely underperformed.
They both did
last
3
year.
sacks. He had 3.5 last year. 3.5 with us last year. He had 7 sacks in Tennessee.
Emmanuel Agba got 5.
Yeah. Well, then again, this might be a better situation this year with, I would think that with all of the turmoil going on with the coaching staff, I would think that now with Montez Sweat being here full time, 100%, there might be a little bit of difference of, Montez getting some double teams. If not, we also need to see the ascension of Javon Dexter. Like if he's actually a disruptor, does that now make DeMarcus give him on an island by himself? Because, the other guy has to maybe command double teams. You got 2 guys. If Javon does what he's supposed to do, and Montez is doing what he's supposed to do, they might command double teams, which should free up DeMarcus Walker.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think that's interesting. Dom Rob don't make this team for me though. He just don't.
Hey, he didn't say Jacob Martin. He said Don Rob.
Jacob Martin, I might see something from. Don Rob doesn't make this team as a defensive lineman for me, I should say. Now, what may save him, and he'll be on the team as a D lineman, of course, but what may save him is the new kickoff rule. Because he is an athlete. He is fast, and he do hit. So, with that new kickoff rule, if I'm sitting there and we kicking off and I need somebody that can open up a hole, I'm going to go put a defensive lineman out there. I think Austin Booker can play that part as well. To me, that's the only reason that he would make this team at all.
Shout out to Crimson. I agree with you, buddy.
But I don't see Dominique Robinson making this team outside of that, in my opinion. Then you go to linebackers. 5 linebackers make the team. Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, Jack Sanborn, Noah Sewell, Eamon Agbangbimig. I don't remember how to say his name.
Agbangbimiga. There you go.
You know why I never feel bad about how you say his name? I asked Flus. Flus said
Amen.
He said we call him O.
There you go.
I said okay. Yeah, I mean, all right. What you want me to say? I do want to see. I was very intrigued by Noah Sewell last season. I want to see a little bit more from him. I want to see if they can utilize him a little bit more. I also think he's somebody who creates a possible, if you're going to have somebody out there on special teams that creates that hole for Dominique Robinson, it could be Noah Sewell as well on the special team side. But we need that linebacker depth. We need guys that can get put out there and can make contributions. I think that Noah Sewell, this will be an interesting season for him to see if he can live up a little bit more to his name. That 3rd linebacker spot, while I love Jack Sanborn, and I think that he is a perfect piece there, Noah Sewell being a little bit more better of an athlete, if he can understand the playbook, if he can kind of figure out, okay, this is where I need to be and think the game at the speed that Jack Sanborn does, you may see Noah Sewell finishing out this season as the 3rd linebacker instead of Jack Sanborn. But you got a long way to get to overcome Jack Sanborn.
I agree with you, and I think that's what Sanborn has a ceiling. Like, he's a solid player.
Yeah.
But that's why I was like, I'm not mad if we make a move to get another linebacker. But to your point, you forget, I think Noah also dealt with a little bit of injury too.
He did. He started the season last year with injury.
So dealing with injury, we know he's fast. And if he's got another year of the system, getting stronger and learning how to be a professional, et cetera, he could be in that. I don't want to say that, but the ceiling for that role to me is Derek Brooks. That's the Hall of Fame, super fast linebacker for the outside linebacker in this type of defense.
Yeah.
Urlacher is the class of the division for the middle linebacker. Briggs and Jack Sanborn are kind of, but like Briggs was.
Briggs way better than Sanborn.
No.
Briggs and TJ Edwards are closer together.
Let me finish. I gotta hear this one.
Let me cook.
Ooh, okay.
I'm saying that Briggs is much higher on that tier of a solid tackling linebacker. Sanborn is in that realm. I mean, him and TJ Edwards and Briggs they remind me of each other.
Yeah.
Tackling machines.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is that, but with that type of speed that Sewell has, he could be that missing piece that they've always wanted in that linebacker core. TJ and Tremaine Edmonds is a good linebacker. Like he's supposed to be the guy that spreads the field. He's supposed to be in that Urlacher kind of that safety kind of role, the extra help. But I would be very interested to see how Noah takes off.
I think what I also am interested in seeing is the part where, right, Jack Sanborn at one point last season was our best linebacker early in the season.
Yeah.
He knew the system, though. I really want to see what a second year in this system does for Tremaine and TJ. because we
Mainly
saw
Tremaine.
by the second half of this season,
Things start to cook.
they knew the system. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, you were like, "Oh, okay, they playing a lot better."
I feel like that was the Montez Sweat effect.
But they were doing that before Sweat got there.
They
They had a couple of games before Montez Sweat got there where the linebacking core was everywhere. That Oakland game, Montez wasn't there for that we went to. Montez Sweat wasn't on the team yet, and that linebacking core was everywhere on the field. It disrupted everything. Now Oakland had two bad quarterbacks, but it disrupted everything. It disrupted everything they wanted to do. You still had Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs couldn't get himself going. There was a lot of good from the linebacking core. A couple, not a long time, but I think that there was a turn in the defensive unit when Montez got there, right before Montez got there, and Montez getting there skyrocketed.
And your opportunity to be there, have you had any conversations in relations to, obviously what this looks like? And have you ever had any conversation with Eric Washington in regards to this?
Eric loves the linebackers. I haven't personally, but I've been in the room with Eric when he's talking about them, and he loves this linebacking core. He loves Tremaine Edmonds,
it's
loves
a solid
TJ
core.
Edwards. I mean, this is a legitimate linebacking core that he gets that he gets to be a part of coaching. And I think that he views even some of the younger guys as guys that can come up and make an impact. And that's really what you really want to see. You want to have that depth. You want to have that guy when one goes down, you're going to have somebody in there to replace him, right? If TJ goes down with something, you move Jack over, you bring Noah up, and Noah's able to figure it out. There's a lot of opportunity here for the Bears. They got a lot of upside with these guys. I love how Ryan Post drafted a lot of these guys because to me, the conversation around them is brought in with an expected talent, but with a ton of room to grow. And we've seen that through his first 2 years. Jaquan Brisker hit. Boom, here we go. Tyreek Stevenson hit. Here we go. Kyler Gordon hit. Here we go. But Jaquan and Kyler, we saw get better the season after that. It was like, oh, snap. These boys got some talent on their side, right? Hope to see that from Tyreek. Javon Dexter, end of the season, seemed like he settled down. Seems like he's picking up right where he left off. So there's a lot still to be seen. But I think that when you look at how Eric Washington views his defense, they say it all the time. Nobody has said they're a top 5 defense more than the Bears. Like they come in, they just like, yeah, we top 5. By what metric?
By what metric?
Which one? I mean, end of the season, phenomenal. Yeah, 100. But top 5. Else. But like top, okay. So and they just like, no, we top 5.
And let me ask you this, like piggybacking off of that. Has there been any conversation around the fact that he's not calling those particular plays, but he's there as the DC?
No, because I think that is, again, when I talked about insulating Flus, I think that's what that is, right? Okay. You bring guys in who are, what did Flus have to do last season that we had to go outside the building to get? He went and got essentially a defensive scout to look ahead at teams. That's where Eric Washington jobs is going to come in. I don't want Eric Washington calling plays.
Okay.
Flus' only value to me right now is as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He's a good defensive coordinator.
What's interesting is I just happened to look this up. So Sweat came.
Do I have that?
Yeah. So Sweat came in week 9, and then TJ Edwards in week 9 had 15 tackles, week 10, 12. And then after that, pretty much 9, 6, 4, 6, 6, 2, and 10. Like it was like almost like he didn't have to do as much as he did once Sweat got there, because I believe they're on the kind of the same side.
Yeah.
As the right side.
Well, no, correct? TJ's on the right. Montez is on the left.
Yeah. No, he's the weak side. No, weak side is on
right.
Weak side was left.
Left side. Yeah.
No, yeah, weak side is left.
Because that's the strong. Okay, never mind. I don't know. It's just interesting. Like the tackles went down for him after what's the name got there. But it's just interesting to see the effect of the defensive line making an impact, because now it just creates less pressure for them, because their job really is to cover. That's what they want. That's what this whole cover 2 Tampa 2 defense is about. That D line gives you enough pressure to disrupt the offensive line, disrupt the passing lanes, sit there and block the deflect passes. Interceptions are going to go up. Especially Kevin Byard. I mean, that's going to be very interesting. Him next to Jaquan Brisker. That's going to be really awesome.
I would say this, going back to what you just mentioned about them saying they're top 5, considering who we got to play this season. I don't think that projection is going to be like, we don't have that many heavy hitters for them to go against, for them not to say that they're not top 5.
We don't. Well, what you don't,
It's the talent that they're facing is going to make them look.
And they know how they played in the
don't
division.
wanna-
The defense has played Detroit fairly well in the division. The defense have played Green
Yeah.
Bay fairly well. They dominated Minnesota. We just couldn't score no points. So, like, when you look at our division, you get, a defense that did really well against it.
But you don't want a paper chump. I don't want you to look good against all these bums, and then when it's time to really play against the true competition, we're not showing up. So you're supposed to beat these.
That's the
dudes.
catch-22 though, because you can only play who's in front of you, and as long as you're not playing down to your competition though. But if you only get one real test, like every season or this particular season, not every season, then us to throw up a dud against like San Francisco. I'm not saying we will. You could kind of accept that because it's like, hey, we don't face a San Francisco caliber team.
Nope. Not
throughout
buying-
the season.
That's
Like,
every Bears season. That's every time. Yeah, we'll beat all these bums, and then we get up against some real competition. Oh, we almost. No, you're supposed to win.
depends on
No.
how it looks.
No.
I'm with you though. I'm
No,
with you.
I don't want that. That's the whole thing about changing this whole mentality, changing how we operate as a team, all that. No, there is no one cares about moral victories.
There is no tomorrow.
There is no
No,
tomorrow.
There is no
It's
tomorrow.
It's like in Rocky 3, right?
Everybody take a shot. Take your shots. No, not you.
All
Not
right,
you.
there
You
we
leave
go.
that down there. You leave that down. Why is that even by you still?
because I left it there from
Somebody
last week.
taking shots of Smirnoff. You got bad friends.
Do we
Joe.
need to cover the special
Got
teams
bad
real
friends.
quick? Or do we wanna-
No. Last two that we have on here, the cornerbacks they have making the team: Jalen Johnson, Tyree Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, Terrell Smith, Jalen Johnson, Josh Blackwell, Greg Stroman Jr., the best DB unit in the NFL.
It's pretty solid.
You also have to include into that the safeties: Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, Jonathan Owens, Elijah Hicks, Tre'Davious Moore.
I feel good about everything.
Tre'Davious Moore.
I feel good about everything we just said.
Like that's the best DB unit in the NFL.
Yeah,
That by far to me. Like just looking at your starters,
Okay.
right? You're talking about Jalen Johnson, Tyree Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker.
I'm happy.
And then you're bringing up the rear with a tackling machine in Jonathan Owens. You've got Terrell Smith, who had to fill in as a starter a couple of times last season.
No Diddy,
Did
by
a
the way.
phenomenal job. Josh Blackwell and Jalen Jones. I don't need to see him out there, but
Good professionalism. You kept it moving.
solid players. So I didn't hear what you said.
I said no Diddy anyway.
I don't even know
You
what
said
we
no
was
Diddy.
Diddy into.
You said you bring it up the rear. No Diddy. Anyway. Yep. Just throw that for fun. anyway,
That felt like a stretch. That one felt like a stretch. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hey, listen. It's Monday. I want this.
That one felt like a stretch.
It's wonderful.
You notice we got a lot less pauses in here when there's no Jordan.
I mean,
I was going to say
anytime you
let's
name
pause.
yourself the meat
we
man.
went 32 minutes before we even had a single flag.
Yeah, and it's a questionable flag. I'm a challenge it. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a questionable flag. I'm a challenge.
Listen, up the rear is an interesting statement. It's an
Bring
interesting
up the
statement.
rear. I feel like
Okay,
people say that.
listen. All right, French Montana.
Oh, you double flagging. That's crazy.
Listen, you said it
That's
twice. I
nuts.
had to do it anyway.
Appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page if you have not done so. 99 on YouTube, 92 over on the Twitter side. I think a lot of the YouTube family migrated over to Twitter, bro. We usually had 200 in the chat just on YouTube. I think we got a lot of people over here on the Twitter side
As
just
long
vibing.
as it's 200 in the chat.
As long as it's 200 in the chat, I'm not mad at it. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man. Let's keep this thing moving along as we listen, not a bad 52-man roster.
Not a bad.
Not a bad
right.
52 or 53-man
53.
roster, I should say. To me,
We might as well give some love.
I mean,
to-
yeah, special teams. Cairo, Tory, Valus.
Sorry.
Tory.
Valus is up there twice. Oh no.
Valus gonna be there.
Ah,
He's not on punts, though.
Jesus Scott.
Valus ain't bringing
Great Scott,
back
no.
punts. Tyler Scott and Dante Pettis are definitely getting started.
Bro, do you know how
the punts.
wild it's going to be for him to have all that time and still month-for punt
Don't wish that on that
or a
man.
kickoff? Like he's going to like.
Oh, by the way,
I don't wish that on anybody.
Over
200.
200 in the chat.
200.
200.
You got to think about the irony of it. It's like, dog, you only had one job, and you
You
still
got one
dropped.
job.
I think this is what's funny. Like this, Jay Greer said Bears rostered and came a long way. That's so funny to me because literally we used to come into every season with questions at every spot.
Now we like.
Now we're just like,
we get
like we're talking about like the 5th and 6th string dudes not making it.
Shout out to
Right.
Poles, man.
Shout out to King Poles, man.
King
Flipping
Poles,
this
man.
whole thing in 3 years, dog. You got to be able to flip it in 3.